All right. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Hi, Noah. Thank you so much for attending to this session.
Thank you, Taya.
Okay. Okay. So we're just going to role play some likely questions that you may typically get
Yeah.
in an interview, and Noah is going to be the one at the other side of the line, and Noah will
Yes.
give us a bit more details on how you can answer some of these questions. All right.
Mhm.
So thank you, Noah, for attending to this session. I'm really excited to be running this interview with you. I have seen your resume, and I must say I am super impressed. I really cannot wait to delve into details of what you've been
Oh,
up
you
to.
are. Mm.
Yes, I am. I am. I cannot wait to get into the details of what you've been up to in the last
Thank
couple of
you.
years. Yeah, so I guess my first one, Noah, would be let's delve right into your experience as a business analyst and just learn a little bit more about what you've done and how I think that would align with our company. So first off for me would be let's talk about requirement gathering as an example. I could
Hmm.
see on your resume that that's something that you've been a part of, as a result of your experience. Can you run me through what your approach is when it comes to running a successful workshop, and how have you done that in the past?
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Taya. And it's really incredible opportunity to be able to interview. Um, and being given this opportunity really, so in my experience as a business analyst for over 10 years, I've had opportunity to work on different type of projects, as you can imagine, and with different very level of complexity really.
Mm,
Being able to tailor different requirement elicitation techniques to be able to get the best outcome on different projects. So I'll
mm,
run you through the different type of elicitation techniques that I've had the opportunity to use
yeah,
over the course of my career. For example, I've had opportunity to run a workshop, both virtual and physical workshop,
that's good.
so that I can gather like requirement from diverse range of stakeholders more
Yep.
effectively, quickly, and to gain alignment, to resolve
Mhm.
conflict. I find out that requirement running a workshop is always pivotal and it's most like very efficient in my own experience to be able
Mhm.
to gain
Mhm.
alignment from wide range of stakeholders.
Mm.
And post COVID, there's been more and more opportunity to run virtual workshop, which is
I
less
agree.
tedious, to plan
Yeah.
the logistics, because pre-COVID, I've had the opportunity to run a workshop for a project that was launching
Okay.
to implement an ERP solution called Microsoft Dynamics 360.
Okay.
And then it was like it was a big project because it involved different levels of stakeholder within the organization.
Yeah.
And the logistics was very tedious. It required
I'd
careful
imagine.
plan to get the right location, plan for all the refreshments, how the order and the program and the agenda of the session will go. So, but then post-COVID, it's a bit, in my opinion, simpler to because we all know that we're gonna meet virtually,
Yeah.
but then running the session itself needs a bit more planning, than the
I
physical one.
agree.
So
I agree.
yeah, so basically there are things I do before the session,
Okay.
things I do to run during the session and things I do afterwards, and that
Right.
also ties into the other illustration technique like interviews, um surveys, questionnaires,
Mhm.
brainstorming sessions, focus group, all sorts. But the core of how I run this session is to make sure that I plan, which is
Okay.
who are the people that I'm going to invite, why am I like, what is the objective of why we're running this project? Do people understand? I need to know so that I can definitely invite the right stakeholder, not miss out on stakeholders, and then plan for the
Correct.
right venue, logistics for that, and then give them some pre-reading to set the context before the
Mhm.
session. Itemize all the agenda of what will happen, and that has really helped me, that structure. And then
Mm.
in terms of facilitating the session, during
Yeah.
the session,
Yeah.
starting with, communicating the objective, what is the expectation, what
Correct.
I want to get at the end of that workshop. So I would set the ball rolling, like, explaining why we're here, the objective. If it's maybe to understand the current process, I would then tell them how I need them to engage with me. For example, one of my projects, I wanted to really understand the current process of different departments.
Okay.
So I would say, hey, I got the support of a scribe, so I would say, hey, this go to the board, we get sticky notes, you step by step,
Yep.
we will discuss for this particular process, how does it work step by step, and we start to map it out on the board, and it's clear, and we start to investigate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you do this step differently? Are there different ways of doing this? Why are we doing it? And that helps us really document um the current state, the future state,
Yep.
and all other things like risk, like high level requirement, depending on what the agenda of the workshop will be. I use similar tactics for my interviews as well. But at the
Amazing.
end, what is important is that when I document all of those things during the session, um, in physical workshop, I will snap the map flow, wipe the board, repeat the process, then go and refine, document, analyze it, then send that to for validation post the workshop. And that
Okay.
has allowed me, be correct. And it's very important. Validation process. Documenting and validating for your stakeholder is very important too.
I'd imagine.
I would do that validation process and make sure that we are all on the same page. Oftentimes people will say, hey, this part, I've just had a second look. This is now how we do it. That allows you course correct, and that is a vital part of our role as a business analyst. So I'll do that and then make sure that I implement all the feedback post the workshop and make sure that I itemize the action items during the workshop as well to work on post the workshop. So you can see
Amazing.
that there's a structure there,
Yeah.
pre the workshop, during the workshop, and after the workshop. The same thing, in the interest of time, that I use for my interviews. I plan for my interview, open-ended question, closed-ended question to engage, setting the objective. And I asked, I run the interview, asking different stakeholder questions,
Yeah.
and then afterward validating as well. Same thing with focus brainstorming. For brainstorming, I might not have all the questions. I may
Yeah.
just want to pick people's brain,
Mm.
So I've had to use different type of
Wow.
presentation technique in my career on different projects. Again, as I said, based on what the stakeholder will respond to,
Yeah.
what is needed for that project, and experience has really taught me a lot, on what is most effective. And as I said, for big dynamic project workshop initial to get consensus, then I
Yeah.
follow up with interviews,
Yeah.
brainstorming session, even informal, questioning or different stakeholders, email and surveys sometimes. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That is amazing. Well done, Well, thank you so much for sharing. I know we're almost
Mm-hmm.
at time, but can you very
Yep.
quickly tell me in like a minute from your experience, what would you say makes a great user story?
Wow, I really love this question. Yes, first of all, what makes a good user story is what we define as invest criteria. And
Okay.
what that simply means is that when we look at our user story, we must ask ourselves, is this independent? Which means that does it have other dependencies that will not make that user story implementable? Some people write user story on an epic level. It's so big,
Yes.
there's so many dependencies, you can't implement it in a sprint, for example. We talk about, is this negotiable? Is the scope negotiable, right? We should not have a fixed user story that we can be flexible and we can align on expectation, because
Yeah.
user stories are, we want to try to be able to achieve them during the sprint, right? And then we say that, um, is it verifiable? What we're trying to document, can we verify? Can we test it? Right? It's another criteria. Can we estimate it? Because if it's too big, there might be too many dependencies. You can't actually
Mm.
estimate it. It will
Yeah.
be a struggle for the team.
Yeah.
And we will always want our user story to be small and testable. So those features are important when we're thinking about writing a good user. I'll give you an example. If you say,
Thank you.
as a user,
Yeah,
I want to be able to authenticate, right? So that I can access the system. Now, authentication is a very big one, right? Because
it is.
authentication has, login, sign up, forgot password, reset password. So there are so
Exactly.
many things there in there. But if you say something like as an admin user, I want to be able to log in to the backend, to the admin portal using my email and my password, right?
And that's
So
clearer.
that I can access
Mm,
the platform. That is small because it's speaking to one part of authentication, which is to log in.
well
See
done.
the difference?
Well
So
done.
that would already, implement those invest criteria, which is key to give your team clarity and set them up for success.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Noah. And it's been an
Yeah,
absolute pleasure learning about your wealth of experience. And yeah, that was a very brilliant description of what an excellent user story is. So thank you for sharing.
thank you.